This is the way.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. My name is Chris, aka RumblePack92, and you are watching This is the Waypoint, the one and only Star Wars show right here on the Shared Screens Podcast Network. We have a beautiful panel of people as always. We have Jordan. We have, what's your name? Brett. Oh my God, I just freaked out for a second. I almost said Django. Like I looked at your screen. I went Jordan, Brett.
Brett.
Also,
I would have called him Mr. Thirsty. Him on the internet these days.
We also need to rewind, and viewers need to watch Brittany's reaction when you forgot Brett's name.
That's so funny.
Her face look at you like, "Are you okay?
Are you good?"
We got Django Fett over there, and we also got Josh, and joining us for, I think, the first time ever on this show, Mario Rivera.
Yeah.
Hello. This is awesome.
Hey, thanks, I'm glad you could be here. Just kind of hit us up on Twitter. He's like, "Yo, I want to come on." We went, "Bet, let's go."
Absolutely.
That's how you get on this show. Really, be like, "Hey, let me on," and we go, "Okay."
First career. My whole career.
First guest on This is the Waypoint. It's just a Twitter exchange at 4 a.m, something like that. Very casual.
We don't even vet
finished watching
people's Star Wars opinions before we let them on.
All my best tweets happen at 4:00, so that's the only thing that happens.
That's the
Perfect.
best time. Some housekeeping right at the bat, of course. Actually, no. By the time this goes up, the This is the Waypoint Book of Boba Fett exclusive T-shirt gone. Doesn't exist anymore. That's
Rest
it.
in peace.
Show's over. You missed your chance. Sorry. If you actually want to,
Until
just let
season
me
2.
know. If you actually want to, just let me know, and I could probably still get one. I got you, baby. I'll hook you up.
Mine just shipped out, so.
Mine hasn't even shipped yet, dude. The show's already over. If you haven't seen this show before and you're wondering what the hell is going on, well, let me explain to you. This is The Waypoint. It's a show where we talk about Star Wars. There's no rhyme, reason, or order to what we do here. There are plenty of other shows, I think, that do real deep analyses and go over plot and all that stuff. We're just here to talk about the things that we did and didn't like about Star Wars. Usually, most of the time, Disney Plus stuff. I did kind of want to shout out the fact that The Force Unleashed getting ported over to the Switch soon by Aspire. Very cool, because this one in particular is the Wii edition of the game, which is very different than its 360 and PS3 counterparts. Starkiller doesn't carry his lightsaber in the reverse grip for some reason. That's like a character-defining thing. There's like 3 or 4 additional levels where you actually go back to like the destroyed Jedi temple and fight other Jedi that are still alive, and that's really cool. And then it's also got a multiplayer mode that the original didn't have. It's really similar to the Revenge of the Sith multiplayer mode, where you actually just pick Jedi and fight each other.
Wait, is that the only difference? Is the 4 extra levels? Because I had the Wii one growing up, and it was not until college in which I found it was on sale on Steam. Someone was like,
that's 4 additional levels that it has. There are other Jedi temples, and the other levels are present in the Wii one, but they're structurally different. Like the game plays completely differently, even though you're in the same spots. If that makes sense.
Because they wanted
you still start out like
controls.
in the factory, like the shipyard factory. That's like the opening level of the game in both versions, but it's completely different on the Wii one than it is on.
It's like when you'd buy like Spider-Man 2 for the PS2 and the DS, and obviously those aren't going to play the same at all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's funny is the Wii one is also the PSP version, which I played. I borrowed my friend's PSP and his version of it, and that's when I found out that it's a completely different game outside of the 360 and PS3. I went, "What the fuck is this?"
That used to be really common with games.
Yeah,
I'd go to say
where they would release on
PSP
everything, and so there was like 2 or 3 different versions.
What were you saying, Brett?
I said I think the PSP version is better than the 360 version.
I'm excited to play. I haven't played through the whole thing. When it comes out on Switch, I might stream it because I haven't played that version of the game like all the way through, and so I think that'd be fun. And it's got online multiplayer, so you jabronis get it, and let's duel.
Listen, you got to really emulate the Wii-ness and then just do it all in motion controls.
Do the motion, yeah. I'm sure
Motion
it's
controls
really good.
Back, baby. Motion controls are back.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Switch Sports, let's go. I can't wait to kick my Joy-Con straight into my TV while playing soccer. That's gonna be so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, of course. Okay, so Force Unleashed stuff
Let's
out of the
get
way.
down to brass tacks here. I want to just take a moment of
Escort tax,
silence.
if you will.
We lost a near and dear character to us, the Garza, aka Sanctuary MILF. confirmed this episode there were no survivors in that sanctuary bombing, so taken away from us too soon. Dave Filoni giveth and Dave Filoni taketh away. So just rest in peace.
We'll miss you forever.
So the angels.
I don't think Discord picked that up, but I'm positive OBS
I heard.
did. So I can't wait
I
for
heard
you.
some of it.
I can't wait for you guys to hear that. I can't believe that they just said, "Nah, she's dead."
Yeah,
Like literally the hottest character, just dead,
absolutely.
gone.
I just love that Boba so just like, damn, bummer. Like there was no
Yeah.
chemistry.
Yeah.
It's blown over so quickly.
I know.
He's probably like, damn, I was gonna try to hit that once all this shit was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like, but Max Rebo's okay, right? All right,
Max
cool.
Rebo
Yeah.
specifically not shown right before the whole thing
Showed,
blows
yeah.
Of course,
up.
of course.
Rebo is
However,
alive.
However, one of the Jizz Masters was there.
Big Ren
Yeah.
Dan.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Big Ren Dan, who of course we do see the cantina scene in the original Star Wars movie. Finally gone down in a blaze of glory, doing what he loved,
Yeah.
playing jizz.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I was told if I do that, I'd go blind.
Yeah. This episode got rid of a lot of original trilogy characters, including the Gamorrean guards. Really one of the biggest losses.
damn, yeah,
from this
they
episode. I
really
can't
fucking
believe
killed the Gamorrean.
They were
guards,
done
dude.
dirty.
That
They
was
lost them
more
off a cliff.
emotional than it needed to be because, like, I remember seeing them running around in Battlefront 2, and I was like, "This is sad."
I was
I
sad.
know.
I was
I
really
know.
sad.
Second time Disney's dropped Gamora off a cliff.
Disney
Well,
hates
third, I
green
guess, 'cause
people
there was two of
confirmed,
them.
bro.
Oh my god.
Disney hates green people. Honestly. I did actually want to touch on while you're talking about like the sanctuary getting vaporized. It's just that opening scene. I felt dialogue was weird, man. It was so. It wasn't good. Like, and I don't like saying that, but the dialogue I felt like just like in the opening scene, like right before the Pikes show up.
Yeah.
It just was weird. I couldn't tell if it was like cut weird, if it was just written by an 8-year-old or what happened. It was I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but it's like, did anyone else get that vibe, or is it just me?
The two scenes that to me were like the weirdest was when one of the Pikes was like, and then we killed his Tusken Raider family, and just like started laughing about it. It was a little weird. The other scene that was like, I was like, what am I watching? It was when the mayor's assistant was like, I'm good in diplomacy, and Devil Boba Fett's like, okay, cool. And then he like goes and like writes this extremely long letter, and very quickly, by the way.
Oh yeah.
So
he wrote like 20 sentences in like 3 seconds. It was really impressive.
very impressive.
No, I thought he wrote nothing because he just went, "You'll do the negotiation. I'm just going to write what I'm willing to give up." And when he looked down, the only thing that was written.
Do you think the tweet
Nothing.
maybe embellished and then he just written the word nothing?
Yeah, like he walked out there saucing stuff up, and it makes sense now that he majored in ass kissing on Coruscant.
Right.
I kind of wished he died this episode.
Absolutely.
It would have been beautiful. He goes out there, says his thing is like, and the terms of our surrender, nothing, and then they just blast him.
Will
that
him
would have been
scream?
incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that, and then we got the two most annoying Disney era Star Wars characters on screen together, him and Amy Sedaris. And
They're getting married. Their own spinoff
they're-
show. It's great.
Right?
No, I don't think she's going to be able to handle him.
She can handle Jawa. She can handle
Oh
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
but this
so
guy's
much
like a
less furry.
pussy.
So much less furry.
And I thought they were going to get murked. I thought like maybe the Rancor was just going to toss a car at them both and just take them both out since they're right next to each other. But
Space
that didn't
Vespa
happen.
handlebar straight through the face.
yeah,
I did like that everyone when the attack happened, like everyone like started showing back up, and I would have just loved, hey, the Gamorrean guards are okay.
Got like a broken
They
leg,
survived
they're
the
limping
cliff.
out. They're like, no, it's all fine.
Because Santa got upped up.
absolutely. And there's like a lot of stuff going around about the editing of this episode, and I do think the editing's a little weird, especially that guy doing the spin, and we're all focusing on that. But
I
there's
love.
so many
Wait,
times.
are you talking about the mod doing that like cool spin?
Yes,
I
I
thought
love
this
it.
was
I loved it.
hilarious.
Listen to
I was all
Robert
about
Rodriguez characters.
absolutely.
Two of my favorite mods.
hmm And like, of course they're gonna do badass shit, but like that editing didn't really get me. The stuff that got me was like Kersantin, like just kind of like limping around and stuff like that, looking super injured, and then it cut back to him, and he's just full sprinting down the streets. Like next scene, and it's like, well, is he fucked up or is he not? What's going on here? That was a little.
He's Wolverine's got healing factor, just every now and then.
I don't think my issue is really editing so much as just kind of the way that some of the action scenes were shot. It had a hard time, I think, sort of feeling really kinetic, for kind of lack of a better word. Like my mind in particular goes when you see like the giant, not droidica droids like walking down the street, and then everyone that's not a Mandalorian is just kind of sprinting, and it's just the droid can't hit any of them for some reason, even though they're right there in front of it, and then they all just kind of go and stand behind a wall together, and I'm like, this is boring. It's like it kind of failed on making me invested in that part of it, but every shot that that Boba and Mando are in and they're fighting, fucking rad.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
dope as
this
shit.
episode made me want not even a wanted me to have a Mandalorian video game, but not necessarily based off Boba or even Din. Just I want to have Mandalorian armor and a jetpack and kind of like very heavy Uncharted like action.
Yeah, man.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Fucking. Why can't I think of it now?
13,
Amy Henning.
13.
Gone
Thank
too
you.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that would have been, and it's so disappointing.
Mm-hmm. Lots of video game ass elements in this episode though, like the force fields, especially like when it starts going red a little bit, and like Din whips out the black.
Aha! Now I
can
get through
saber, and he's like, now I can get through it. Yeah,
very
exactly.
very
like,
Dune-esque, very Dune-esque
Yeah.
about that. I was like, ooh, okay.
I did like though that without like straight up saying, hey, this is what like destroyer droids evolve into.
It was very
That's
obvious.
what destroyer droids evolve into, and that was cool. They even like altered the sound effects a bit and everything to kinda state that. I think they called scorpion droids is what I heard. I need to watch it again.
Badass name.
Which is a cool name.
Yeah.
It's a shame they can't hit shit. They got the aim of a stormtrooper.
Yeah, they do. One of the things I think overall with this series specifically that I'm very happy about is the way that they're able to combine. I always felt that the prequel series and the original trilogy just felt like two different universes.
Yeah.
Just felt completely separate. And this is the first time I felt them all finally existing in the same world.
Yeah.
And just being able to combine original characters with like visuals of the Clone Wars and tech from the Clone Wars and melding that finally with it feels like a cohesive universe. And honestly, that made me more of a fan of the old stuff. It made me reminiscent and nostalgic for things that I was not nostalgic for before.
It's kind of like, and I think this is something we did internally, was when that the poster came out 2 days ago, or maybe it was even yesterday, like right before the finale dropped. That it's got Luke on it, it's got Cad Bane, there's Cobb Vanth, there's the N1 Starfighter, there's all these things, and I was like, if you had shown me this like 5 years ago, I'd have laughed in your face. Like this is absurd,
This is crazy.
Yeah, and then here are all of these elements all together in one thing. Like even just that one episode had Din Djarin, a Mandalorian who was introduced post Return of the Jedi, drives or flies it through the Boonta Eve Classic in an upgraded N1 Starfighter, who's then pulled over by X-wings. Like it's such a cool. Like they've done like a seamless job of actually like making everything feel like it all exists in the same universe, like you're saying. Like it finally has that connective tissue, I think, that I've been looking for across all these trilogies. And
making that Starfighter, nostalgic in terms of the way that it's the junky stuff, like they talk about the Millennium Falcon. Like such a smart move, because when you first see that thing, it's crisp and beautiful. And then just seeing it in the state that it is, to like basically a hot rod, it's incredible.
Yeah, and I think that's such a big like characteristic part of what sets Star Wars apart. Most like sci-fi, even though I don't consider Star Wars really to be sci-fi, it's a fantasy thing. Just by the rules of genre definition, that's a different definition. But everything has kind of like this dirty, beat up, lived in kind of feel, and that's also what sets the Empire apart, is that they're very militaristic and uniform and stuff, and that's the whole thing. And so yeah, like you said, I like that they managed to kind of like take this thing that was originally pristine and kind of make it feel like it belongs in this part of and do that in such a cool way. And then I mean, even in that same episode, we also have like a BD droid in there too, like even bridging like some of like the video game stuff in there, which you mentioned this is the first time. Like it's cool to see like the blending of these things. I think Fallen Order also did that really well. But that's like again another conversation. I think
it was a good start for
please
sure.
Please make a BD
Please.
like a toy. I need one.
Fallen Order felt more of a prequel to Rogue One in a lot of ways. So that's
I can see
why.
that.
Yeah, that's why I feel like this is very much.
Yeah, I think this one definitely goes further in that, and I think does that a good deal better.
Yeah.
Especially just in this finale episode. I think if I could just go ahead and get my favorite scene out of the way right now, it's the duel between Boba Fett and Cad Bane.
Absolutely.
Because with a lot of the stuff when they pull, I consider the Clone Wars show to kind of be like an expanded universe thing. It's not the movies, you know. To where a lot of times when they kind of pull from expanded universe, like with Chrysanthemum or Santo, they kept calling him.
Yes, which I loved when Chrysanthemum comes back and Boba's like Santo. I was like, I love that we're just giving him cute names. Yeah,
My boy.
They gave him a nickname. He's
love it.
finally one of them.
I know it was great.
That's how you know.
Is that a comic book thing? Is that a comic book thing?
So Chrysanthemum's from the comics, yeah.
Yeah, I know that, but I was just wondering if
I don't know if they call him Santo in the
nickname.
comics or not. Yeah,
That'd be interesting.
but in the comics, Boba and Santo, what's that?
What's up, boy?
Work together like a few times, and they don't mention that at all in the show, and you kind of really don't get that vibe up until like there's like one
Fennec.
line. There's like one line to where he just kind of goes, "Hey, stop working for assholes." Like I know that you did what I did, but I was like, no, you literally worked together for Jabba the Hutt. Whereas you see this Cad Bane scene to where they just flat out they're like, "Yo, I used to train you, man. You're too much like your dad still and all this stuff." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, dude! Reference all that shit. Let's go."
Yeah, that to me was cool because I just learned about that in terms of it being sort of a non-told story from Clone Wars, and this to be like kind of fully formed of like, oh, like this is my final lesson. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I see what you're doing there. And then for me, it was Fennec and because I watched Bad Batch and I really, really, really liked that show.
Yeah, Bad Batch was cool.
They had that fight. They had that scene where they were chasing after the character, and I was like, that's really cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's because Cad Bane is awesome, and I mean, I'm sad he's dead.
Yeah.
But he's also old, and like if I were to pick a way for Cad Bane to go, it would be while he's out on like doing a job like this. I think that's cool, especially when you look at like the sort of like mentor-mentee kind of thing. But then like him saying like this is my final lesson, caring about others like makes you weak, and then Boba kills him using the staff that he got from his Tusken family.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. I mean, obviously in Star Wars, nobody ever dies, which is awesome because they could still tell thousands of stories where he shows back up.
Oh yeah,
and
do it really easily.
I can't. He could easily be in Boba in what's that show called? No, they just announced it. Obi-Wan, thank you.
Yeah, he's still alive at that point in time.
He's still alive at that point, so he could easily that model. I mean, I'm sure they'll probably. I'm curious about. So I'm okay with the makeup. I know there was that crazy defake or whatever. However, I do like the idea that this is just an older time period. He could look different, right?
Yeah.
So if they want to still,
I thought it looked fine for what they did. Clone Wars is an exaggerated show, like just
Exactly.
style wise, like that it all made sense to me. And people are like, "Oh, but the color's off." I'm like, he's old, whatever.
I never watched Clone Wars, and I looked at what he looked like in the show compared to live action, and like the only difference is his mouth is lower. Like people are acting like it was a real big change, and it wasn't.
Yeah. A lot of people used like the Duros models that we see in like what we see in Expanded Universe, where the mouth is lower. It's like, yeah, but they didn't have to speak. Like there's a human in this, like who has to speak. Like the proportions got to match a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I loved it, and I like you said, he could always come back. His trope in Disney era Star Wars is just showing up and killing
actually
characters between Hunter and
kidnapping children.
Yeah, exactly. So if he shows up and he like shoots Kumail Nanjiani and Obi-Wan, like I'm gonna lose my fucking shit. Oh my god, could you imagine?
He
I didn't know
just
he was supposed to
and
be
then
in
he
that.
doesn't appear at all for the rest
He
of the
is.
show. He just shows up, shoots somebody, and leaves.
Exactly.
I do like that semi fake out with the bathtub tank. They kept referencing it, and I think
Mhm.
it was intentional in terms of it being the first half of the show is literally him just being in the bathtub tank every other half of the episode, and then it's like, well, you should go to the bathtub tank. It's being occupied. Like all those little funny little references. But the fake out of he said, "I'll give you a trip to the bathtub tank or whatever to Chrysanthemum," and then later at the end of the episode, you see him there, and he said it's being occupied. I'm like, well, who's in it? And
Well, see,
was
I
like,
thought he meant Chrysanthemum.
that's what I thought
But
too.
Chrysanthemum's there until they show Chrysanthemum.
And I'm like,
And then
what?
I
popped the fuck.
I popped-
Yeah, I popped off.
Yeah, pop the fuck off because it's like
Pop
this
motherfucking
this
van.
entire
I knew he
this
wasn't dead.
entire run.
I knew it.
Daddy's
He
not
wasn't dead.
dead.
He got
Yeah.
shot in the shoulder.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a part when the people from Freetown showed up and they're like, Cad Bane came by and killed him in cold blood, and I was like,
fucking
ooh.
murdered his ass.
He said shot
I
him
was
in
like-
cold blood.
Yeah, shot him
Yeah.
in cold blood. And so I was like, fuck, did they really do it? And then like I've been screaming for Daddy Elephant this entire show, and I popped the fuck off for Thundercat. And you're gonna give me a post-credit scene with them both? Give me a whole
I
goddamn
was like,
show.
Durag, Dragon Ball Durag, this is awesome, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Give me an entire show of just fucking Robo-Vanth and goddamn
I'll say it now,
Thundercat.
and I'll say it in this goddamn show. I will watch those stupid mod kids. I don't care. I'm okay
Yes,
with them.
Yes.
I
No, I'm
don't
with you.
care.
Yes.
Don't care. Give me the Doctor Who looking one, the white dude that's clearly British in Doctor Who. Totally okay with it. I love this jacket.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah.
I'm with you on that. The colored motorcycles are cool. If you think otherwise because they're too bright, you're lame.
Fuck off.
Like not
So-
everything's going to
grow
be
up.
freaking The Dark Knight. Let's add some color into this world. They looked cool.
The Starfighter was yellow. All right.
It's also true. The Starfighter was
Yeah.
yellow.
Ah.
But yeah, with Chris, what you're saying about like the weird dialogue and bringing it back to the mod kids, her being like, "We're gonna stay here and fight," at some points felt kind of corny.
No, so
Oh, yeah.
that whole bit, I just kind of had an issue with because they're just there. They're all clumped behind a wall together, and then pivotal point in that scene, like in this fight, is they look up, they realize there's a roof up there, and they're like, "Oh, we can shoot from up top. That's how we'll win." I'm like, "What the fuck? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, how does that solve anything? You still got a shield." Whatever. And
The high
and
ground.
then my favorite, but this is the high ground, bro. My favorite part though is that it's like it's just right there.
It's just right there.
And then the mod is like, hold on, who's that up there?
Oh, they made it up top there.
I was like, she
It's
just
like,
told
what's
you they're
going
going up
on?
there.
Yeah.
What are
He
you
did
doing?
It's weird. I think the action in this episode, it's like that meme of like the drawn horse, where like the right side is like a very beautifully done like piece from an artist, and the left side is done by like a high school art student, and then the middle is just like crayons from a 4-year-old. Like the good stuff would be the Rancor fighting those scorpion
Boba
droids.
and the
That was
Rancor
incredible.
Oh, dude, the kaiju-
Boba and Mango,
Absolutely.
Mango
absolutely.
choreography. But yeah, dude, that's
Yeah.
what we all wanted, right? Was
Yeah, no, the
Exactly,
Rancor
yes.
coming back and the Tusken stick coming back were like some of the best circling back. I just really hated the Rancor then becoming an obstacle like 5 minutes later.
Yeah, I mean, it really was just a setup Grogu in a certain sense, and I
100%.
actually
Yeah.
preferred it because it's the fucking cutest thing to have a Rancor and Grogu lay next to each other. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, that is just adorable, and I'm so happy. I love the fake out though earlier where he's trying to stop the droid, the big monster droid, and it like hits him.
yeah.
Yeah.
He like
Yeah.
catches the part and
Yeah.
that was really clever.
And I,
I
was
thought
like,
the
oh
leg
my
was
god,
gonna fall off.
it's same.
I
And
thought
I was like, oh my god,
yeah.
he has a new metal ball to play with, and then fucking Mando hands him the metal ball,
Yes.
and I just fucking melt and
I love
feel
he's-
crying.
He's hitting it.
It's great.
So I want to
Yeah.
talk about that for a minute. If you don't mind me getting on the pedestal.
Good.
I have
I
one
wanna talk
my
more.
about-
soapbox here because let it never be said that I don't do my best to try and put positivity out there for Star Wars in general, because I think that Star Wars fans can get very toxic. It can be a hateful place sometimes. And
Star Wars, no.
That being said, I have some problems with this. And I want to say
Okay.
that overall, I'm very happy with this episode, and I enjoyed it, and I liked where it went. But I have some problems with certain things. The biggest one is just kind of Grogu being in this show at all.
Mm-hmm.
Which is say, I don't mind the fact that they got back together. I wish it hadn't happened so early. It almost feels like the ending of season 2 of Mandalorian had so much weight to it because we're like, damn, they're not going to see each other for. And then the previous episode, Mando goes and he's like, damn, I can't see him right now. And then he just shows up in the next episode, they're together and they're off flying in space adventures. And I'm like, well, fucking shit, bro. Like,
Also,
it cheapens that a bit for me.
Grogu using the one force jump he used to just give him a hug.
That was adorable, and I loved it.
That was adorable. Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
with a lot of stuff throughout this whole show, it's like I like what's happening and I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, but I'm also wondering why it's here yet. Like I think that all could have been saved for Mandalorian season 3, especially all of the Jedi training shit that we got last week.
Yeah.
Getting this finale even more so made me wonder why that was included at all in this show. And I like it. It was cool. Don't get me wrong. That's so awesome. I loved all of that. And there's that, again, the connective tissue that's leading us toward the sequels and all these things. But at the same time, I'm like, we still don't really have a great idea of what the threat of the Pikes are. Like they just kind of showed up like 4 episodes into the show. And then we spent 2 episodes not there at all. Like it feels like just a weird use of the time of the show when they could have had more stuff developing the guy whose name is in the goddamn title of the show.
For sure. And like one of the reasons I enjoyed this episode so much was because it didn't go places I was really afraid it was going to. Like when one of the first scenes is the X-Wing coming in, I was like, are we about to get an entire episode of Luke being here?
I do love that Luke just fucking FedExes Grogu over to Mando. That was like, nah, I ain't going.
Then there was just, and every single time, like they were focusing on Grogu to show us that he can use the Force, I was like panicking. I was like, if he pulls out Yoda's fucking lightsaber right now, I'm done.
Doing the same thing. I was like, please, God, no.
I gave him both stuff. Like what?
But then he sent him on his way.
I did love though, Mando. Just like again, because I liked the moment. It's just why so soon? But just him being like, the shirt. You have the shirt.
Yeah,
and
I loved it.
Like,
I loved it. I loved it. I love that moment because it very much so like just the scene previously, Mando's like, we're gonna die. Like this is my ending. Like I don't have any. I mean, he got kicked out of the thing, right? And then like this is it. This is his ending. And then he'd be like, oh, you're not supposed to be here right now.
Like, oh fuck.
I kind of need to fucking stay alive and like protect you. And absolutely.
Yeah.
I
like that aspect.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, I don't have so much of a problem with it. I'm glad we got it out here so we can kind of just jump in wherever with Mandalorian Season 3. I just wish instead of 7 episodes, maybe this was not 9. And we still got this stuff, but we got 2 more episodes to flesh out the Pikes.
Yeah, it either needed less Jedi or more time.
That's what it...
we need like 2 episodes to make up for the 2 that had nothing to do with the show.
I did not know this was the finale until I found out it was the finale.
Really?
Oh shit!
Really? I didn't pay attention. I thought it was gonna be 8, and I was dead wrong.
Damn.
So
Because
at what point did you realize it was the finale?
The credits.
Yeah.
Before the episode came out.
I thought you meant like at some point while watching it, you're like, "This is the finale."
The finale now
the show?
streaming on Disney Plus.
It would be so great. Where you're pulling up Disney Plus and it has finale, and he goes, "Huh?"
It's like, oh no.
Yeah. The underdeveloped stuff for me is like, why does Boba Fett care about the city and like the Pikes? And so 2 episodes to like flesh that out would have been fine.
So,
but
I do have thoughts about that.
Yeah. And then I was just going to say, like, obviously we saw Grogu training, so it was going to pay off in this episode. And I said last week, like, we're going to get something like the Rhino from the 2nd episode of Mandalorian, but we got it twice, and one was with the goddamn Rancor, so I'm absolutely A-okay.
And with the Rancor, he didn't kill it. He just put it to bed.
I know.
I love that.
And then he snuggled next to it, and it was incredible.
Yeah, it's great.
God,
When Mando...
Look at Twitter. Wrestling shit's happening. It's great.
Oh yeah. Before we get too much further outside of it, Brett, you've been real quiet, man. Give me general thoughts. What you got going on?
Yeah, I liked it. I think the structure of the show is very odd. I think I saw some rumors that they were initially going to transition the Mandalorian to be a anthology show where it focuses on literally different Mandalorians, and then they kind of pivoted during the process of making season 3 of Mandalorian and kind of changed it to Boba Fett.
Interesting.
So yeah, like let's see. Yeah, the whole Boba Fett stuff with him caring about the city was not as developed as I wish it would have been. Um and then like going back to the Cad Bane duel, like on one hand it was cool to see him use a gaffy stick to beat him, but then on the other hand, like if you don't know who he is, like he just shows up and then he's died. Like
Yeah.
and then if you do know he is, like he's in live action and then he's gone. Now granted they could do like other live action stuff, but it felt odd to bring him, but he might not be dead because his vest was blinking or whatever.
I have read that
And-
rumor that he's got some kind of like life support something, and he's got a self revive in there.
like and then too, like how Cad was like, "You're a cold-blooded killer, kill me," and then Boba like kills him. Like
He
I was
goes,
like,
"Okay."
I thought I thought that was really odd, considering the whole point of the show
Mhm.
was to like rehabilitate Boba as like someone more nuanced than just a cold-blooded killer for hire bounty hunter. And then in the end, he just stabs him. Like what? Okay, like I felt like. And then he's like, I'm protecting the city, and then his Rancor is like destroying half the town.
Yeah,
Just
while,
like-
while that's
I'm like,
happening,
bro,
his
the
pet
droids
is
were-
eating people.
I was like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, it was just very odd, and I wonder because of what might like all the rumors of like why the show might have been structured so uniquely. If we get a season 2, maybe that would fix it.
Mhm.
But yeah, overall it was fine. I think like the IMDb had all the episodes ranked, and like the ones without Boba were like 9.5, 9.8, and then all the Boba ones were like 7. I'm like, yeah, like that feels about right. Like the best parts of the show weren't Boba related at all, and
Which
that's just
I
gonna leave
think
a
is
weird
also
taste in my mouth.
which I think is also just like that's part of my issue with why they're there at all. Like I like it's because these are characters like especially like Mandalorian that we've spent like 2 seasons with at this point trying to take. Granted, Boba is technically a pre-established character, also kind of not really. And so this is their chance to kind of do something new and unique with him, and it feels like it wasn't taken for him. Like it still needed more, and yet they had like this weird thing. Okay, we're gonna go play with Luke Skywalker for half an hour in the second to last episode. No, it has no bearing whatsoever on the next episode, but I don't care. Here's the Jedi Temple. It's like that's so strange.
The whole dichotomy of Boba wanting to be the daimyo, like aka like a crime lord, but then also rule benevolently. I can't think. Like it's like it's these two like opposite sides.
So
of the
I kind
coin.
of
Go ahead.
I saw yesterday, like on TikTok, I was just scrolling. Somebody was doing an analysis of Jason Todd, and as I was watching it, I was like, "This fits very, very well for Boba." Where the idea is like Boba kind of accepts that he's never going to be able to defeat crime, so he'd rather control crime and kind of do it morally through what he finds to be moral. So like if he's gonna not want to sell these hard drugs, or at least keep it on the outskirts of town so it's not affecting the actual people that are living there and all the issues that come with drug running happening in your towns and stuff like that. But he's also aware that crime's not necessarily gonna stop, but if it's happening under his watch, he can put it into places where it's going to always naturally happen. Again, this was originally an analysis on Jason Todd, but I felt like it really matched with what we saw here.
Yeah, if I can chip in there, I mean, I
Yeah,
think, and I do want to. I have several general questions, and we need to talk about Fennec because there's something I need to bring up about that character.
Absolutely.
But specifically, I want to talk about this first. Specifically, with Boba Fett being this character that everyone loved for as little screen time as he actually has, lives a minute 20 seconds. He's like, oh, baddest of the badass, bounty hunter that everyone's scared of, cool, ruthless, blah 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 blah. This is him being not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy in this show. This is the anti-hero redemptive arc of that character. He's now on the good side of the force, if you will. And how people can take that away, and whether I think their enjoyment of the show goes, of their expectation not meeting what the reality is. And I'm wondering how people are feeling about that, because personally, and I really actually enjoyed the first 2 episodes specifically of how they were trying to tell this redemptive story of him being welcome with his people, which is a well-worn territory in so many things, but specifically also in Westerns. And I think this one's more Western than it is samurai film. So I enjoyed it for those aspects, which I really liked. It really goes samurai when you go to whatever planet. I forgot what planet that was that Luke's at. But
I mean, it's typically how it goes. Your gunslinger characters are cowboys, and then the Jedi are samurai. Like, yeah,
exactly.
We'll see. We'll see some samurai shit in Obi-Wan for sure.
1000%. When it comes to specifically, the character of Boba Fett, I think that the way that they're telling the story and the way, because he's with the Tuskens for possibly 5 years. Because if I'm not mistaken, Mandalorian takes place obviously 5 years, or at least 5 years. And then, he's in the Sarlacc pit, and boom, he's meeting up with these people, and he's integrated, right? He's like Jake from freaking Avatar, right? I can't believe I remember that guy's name. Anyways, Jake Sully. So for me, and to see him like come to terms with these people, and the fact that they're being murdered off every day, it seemed, because of the spice trade and what it's doing to people, I really, really enjoyed of him becoming this sort of like, yes, he is now part of the dime of the crime lord, but using that exactly how you're saying, using that power in a respectable way, in a morally positive way, in a way that I think that is character growth. I know that some people are going to think I'm crazy for that because they have so much high expectations of his past, right? And I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome for characters in this way, just like Darth Vader in a lot of ways. Good guy goes bad, goes good again. Like
I also just really, and I 100% agree with you, and just kind of take that even further. I also really liked like his constant thing of being like, hey, like don't work for Scug Lords or whatever he says.
Yes.
He's like, I'm also doing this as like one. It's like I think a near-death experience changes people. Like, obviously, and then it gets brought in with the Tuskens, and like you said, they don't really mention it very much because they never really do a great job of showing how long time passes in
no, they don't.
Star Wars.
No.
But he's with the Tuskens for a long time because he's still wearing the Tusken outfit when we see him in Mandalorian.
Yes.
Which is so funny. He pretty much had to go like right up the road, and there would have been Cobb Vanth. But anyway, how far away was he really? But yeah, just that idea of him like assimilating into this new family, and specifically like seeing the way that the Tusken ruler there took care of his people, and kind of wanting to do the same and get back to Tatooine that way. And then also, I mean, he worked for Jabba. It almost got him killed, and he's like, "Yo, I'm tired of working for people that don't give a shit about me." And and I'm not going to do that.
And these, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that's another important thing to remember about bounty hunters as a whole, but also Boba Fett, is like they're really just loyal to whoever's paying them at the moment. Something I read before even Mandalorian came out. One time I was just browsing Reddit, like r/ask science fiction, and somebody asked something about Boba Fett, and someone in the comments wrote about how before Disney bought it, there was an expanded universe story where Jabba basically tells Boba when he has Leia captive, go in there, do whatever you would like to. And Boba sits down on the ground and just talks all night because that's not the type of thing that he does. And basically his whole thing was just that, like, he's trying to survive in a world where there's a totalitarian government, there's fucking crime amok everywhere, and he has these types of skills. And that he's always just been like he's loyal to himself type of person.
Yeah, I mean, and this show really gives him a found family that he has not had for decades, right? Yeah. I mean, the only family that I know of him having, obviously, is his father. But then, of course, there's Cad Bane. Well, apparently, I didn't see a lot of the Clone Wars, so I'm not sure if there's. I know there's things but
there's
not
one small story arc there.
Yeah, and then of course Cad Bane now confirmed sort of that story, which is really Dave Filoni getting his Filoni in there. But in terms
he can't help himself, man. He's like, I get to direct an episode. I'm putting all my characters in it.
I'm putting all my characters in. They're going to meet characters that you would never expect them to. Man, by the way, God, I'm sorry. I don't want to make this podcast any longer, but
you're good.
Man, we could actually get a Thrawn trilogy, which of course is probably going to be with the Ahsoka show with Luke.
Yeah.
Because this Luke can now be on screen for longer than he could be standing like this. But anyways, I did want to bring up Fennec. because I may or may not have an issue with it. I don't know how I feel about it because I honestly was feeling one way throughout the entire show that the show did not pay off on because I completely believe they were setting it up. And I think that for them not to do it because, okay, so Fennec in this episode specifically disappears.
Yeah.
For a long period of time. And I thought it was absolutely playing to my theory that I've had all season that Fennec is a red herring bad person that is going to betray him at the right time. And I thought that was going to happen. I thought that was the whole point of why the guards, all their people that they like placed in different areas, why they got jumped and all the other stuff. Like I thought the whole season Fennec was doing a double cross. And when it ended up being, and I thought the scene was cool when she fucking murders everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the scene where I was like,
oh my God.
That was the scene where I was like, oh yeah, she was an assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Straight assassin. And oh, by the way, I was going to mention, even though Boba Fett's good or morally gray, there he did murder a bunch of bikers. But anyways,
yeah, he did.
They had it coming.
They fucking deserved it. But anyways, but yeah, what are your thoughts on Fennec this season? I don't know if you guys felt that way because I just didn't feel that she was down for the get go because there's constant scenes of them like hit her saying like you should do this. And he's like, no, we will not. Or
especially like specific. She's also like, you want me to kill him for you? like I can just murk his ass right now.
Yeah.
A lot of the season
really interesting, and I think I would have preferred like the Fennec double cross to giant destroyer droids.
Sure.
That would have been, I think more interesting. It plays more into the emotional side of stuff rather than having a big Spy Kids-esque Robert Rodriguez thing happening.
Fuck, it totally was. You're not kidding.
How dare you?
He's not kidding. He's not wrong.
What can I say? And it's like I'm poking fun a little bit. I enjoyed the episode. But it's so funny that it's like, oh man, I thought it was going this way, and yeah, signs really point towards that, and it's like, nah, she was just driving to Mos Eisley. Like,
yeah,
it's far away,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw those theories too, and I was like, I don't know, like I'm gonna wait, but it'd be interesting. I didn't want that until this morning when someone was like, yeah, Mando and Boba Fett kind of really the best duo. And I was like, yeah, let's get Fennec out of there and let's just team up Mando
now,
and Boba.
I love
Hey, there could always be room for 3.
I mean, Grogu's the third, man. Get Fennec out.
That's gross.
Here's the thing though too, just with how much Mando was in this one, I honestly foresee we'll probably have more Boba Fett in
Mandalorian, yeah.
I think we're gonna see Boba next season.
100%.
Especially the combat with the two of them.
That was so cool.
That was so cool.
Seeing them both on the jetpacks, just coordinating and just distracting everyone. Oh my God!
I'm gonna watch it. I gotta watch it right after this.
Where they're like spinning together, and they shot that one dude like 8 times as he's falling off the roof.
There's only one scene that matches it that came out that day, and it was a movie I can't talk about. There's one shot in that movie that does a very similar thing, and I can't talk about it. I loved all that personally. I love the little knee thing he did. That was really cool.
Yeah, man. Fucking dope.
I don't.
When
best action.
Din tried to use the flamethrower in the Rancor's mouth, and the fire just kind of stayed there for a few seconds. Literally, my first instinct went, "How it feels to chew 5 gum."
I was like, "Yeah, that guy's gonna have heartburn."
Yeah.
Oh man.
We are kind of coming up on time. I did want to mention one last thing that I don't know if I enjoyed it. It was like the first thing that I texted Josh after I finished the episode, though, where I was like, "What the fuck is this song at the end?"
Yes, yes.
Why are the lyrics to the theme just Boba Fett?
Boba Fett. I don't know, but that remix goes so fucking hard, man. I played the credits back like 3 times at 3 in the morning, just Fett, just like going.
See, I just watched this right before work, so I had to fast forward just to get to the post-credit scene. Is that literally what the lyrics are?
Yes,
yes. It's not even like the dum dum dum. It's like Boba Fett, Boba Fett. I was like, what the fuck?
It's supposed to be like a Tusken Raider thing, and it's like their language.
I don't
is not
know, but
advanced.
it is so fucking good. Shout out Ludwig for fucking doing this hot remix of an already great song.
Dude, I'm excited for the Thundercat remix.
No,
Make a
fuck me
Thundercat
up,
remix.
dude. Just fuck me up with that.
Oh my god.
Awesome. All right. So because this is the final episode of this season, let's go around the room real fast and just give me not necessarily out of 10, but overall feelings of the show. How did you like the show as a whole, as One Piece? Let's start with you, Jordan.
I give it like a solid 6.5 to 7.
Yeah.
Probably even closer to the 7 end. I do think that there is more good than bad in the show. Really, all the complaints I have are just I wanted them to do more, which, if anything, is also kind of a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brett, what about you, man?
I think for context, I would give Mando season 2 a 9.5. I would give 1 a 9, and then I'd probably give this a 7.
Yeah.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, that's fair. Josh?
I'm gonna go high 8s with it. There's definitely some lackluster episodes. There's some episodes that completely pivot off and build up Mando stuff. But again, like I'm fine with that because we can just jump into to season 3 with a blank slate. The finale gave me everything I wanted. Duel with Cad Bane, Boba riding the Rancor, fucking Grogu in the cockpit, just banning the ball, and Robo Van.
That was so good. Where he's like,
and-
hey, push the booster
yeah,
again.
exactly.
And I was like,
Exactly.
it took me forever to be like, what is he asking for? That he's like, fine, this is the last time. And then I was like, oh, he likes going fast.
Absolutely.
I
Then like
Go ahead, sorry.
on my Star Wars bingo card, never would have had Thundercat in Star Wars. We got the MILF.
Never.
Lots of weird decisions made in the show, but I think they're all great. And like the Spy Kids stuff, people don't like. I grew up on Spy Kids. I go like 8.5 on it. I thought it was good.
Cool. All right, what are you, man?
So it's funny because I really did like a lot of the Boba Fett stuff that we're setting up until we got that detour. I do love the detour, don't get me wrong, but I do feel that it, like you said, it should have been either not included in this. It should have been a Star Wars special where it could have been a 2-episode or a 2-hour thing that came out in the summer. Like if we're not getting Mando this year specifically, if that's
Just
the
give
case,
us a little something.
just a 2-year, like like he participated in this battle.
That's why I still
and
have
then
him in that finale. Just
Mhm.
give us a couple episodes like, hey, here's what he was doing before.
Yeah, exactly. And it could literally have been like, yo, we got to hire people. All right, cool. Who we got? Oh, we know one person. And then they call, and then he just so happens to be on Tatooine getting a new ship. Like that's literally all it had to be. And then that little 2-part episode or whatever. Anyways, because that we do have this, for me, I think I'm going to give it probably like a 7.5-ish in that area because I still really like a lot of what they did with Boba Fett, and it actually made me care about the character in a way I never did. Specifically, also what it did for Tusken Raiders, because Tusken Raiders to me are also these weird other thing, and honestly, I don't want to be a Tusken Raider racist. That was terrible. I never I thought of that way. So it made me feel bad about myself. So ultimately, I think this show suffered because of that. So for me, it is a 7.5 specifically.
Personally, I don't think I could phrase that any better than Mario did. I think he said exactly how I've been feeling. I mean, of course, we talked about it earlier in the show in earlier episodes. To just the way that they've fleshed out the Tusken Raiders and how much that has appealed to me. And then I think I've told Josh both on Twitter and in text and you guys at a couple of other times where I was like, yo, I never gave a shit about Boba Fett until he showed up in Mandalorian. Like I was always in the impression I was like, yeah, he looks cool, but he didn't do anything, And so I really enjoyed this because now we have this character who finally has a personality and a story arc and progression and all of these things that he didn't have.
Funny.
Not to mention a really fucking badass suit. He looks so cool.
Yes, absolutely.
And he's funny.
And he's
He
so
does some
funny.
funny
Like a bantha.
like a bantha. Yeah, like a bantha. And then today, even though the scene I don't like it, just the fact that just like, all right, like those, I'm okay with that. And he like goes right to say it's so
Yeah,
funny.
it's like whatever.
Mhm.
So good.
And so yeah, it's just I wish we could have gotten more of that because that kind of felt like it was supposed to be the point of the
Yeah.
show. And it's like, yeah, I loved all of the stuff with Luke and with Grogu and seeing the temple and Ahsoka's there and like wow that's really cool. Why is it in this show?
Yeah.
Like this is weird. I liked seeing it. So yeah, I'm with you. 7.5 for me. I had a lot of fun. I wish we could have gotten more. Maybe we'll get a season 2. I think that would be cool, or a volume 2. Give me another book.
I think we will get more whether it be season 2. I'm actually going to drop down to an 8 solely because of the Jawas or furry line, and then every time we've seen Jawas after in the following 2 episodes, they kind of make it a point to show hair coming out the sleeves, and I just don't fuck with that. I don't fuck with that.
Also, it
an
wasn't
8.
just one line. She says it like 8 times.
She says it 8 times, and then the
saying
following 2 episodes, look at their sleeves. They have hair now. It's like, oh my god.
I'm about
Listen,
to watch it with Brittany. I'm gonna look.
Dude, look,
I'm
it's
gonna-
there. It's there.
I'm gonna say it now. Jawusi.
The Jawusi.
The Jawas.
So we get off these space lizards. That Jawas looking real good right now. Also, shout out space lizards too. Lizard drugs.
shout
They're
out
pretty
the-
good.
shout
I'm
out
going
the-
back to 8.5. I'm going back to 8.5.
Shout
This
out
is
the
great.
Shout
nose
out-
Lizzie, bro. Give me another
Shout
one of them
out-
nose Lizzies.
Shout out to the damn boss aliens because they look goofy as hell and I love them.
Oh my!
I
yeah.
love them.
Which one are the Bosk? Or those the snake people?
The snake people.
The Trandoshans.
Yeah, they all kind of look weird, especially
There's-
like
They look like they walked out of Star Trek. It's so good.
Yeah.
And
something about
unfortunately,
the
they look
way
better
they
than
move.
they did in the last season of Mandalorian.
there's something about the way they move that makes it look like they're puppets, especially in the episode where he has them at the table and they just turn and they're like, "We agree," and everything has the slithery
it's-
sound to their
It's because
voice.
they have to Batman turn. When
Yeah, they
have
the
talk.
Batman turn.
Yeah, they can't move there. They got a cowl on. And on that
I love
note,
it.
this has been the season finale of the Book of Boba Fett, as semi-reviewed here on This Is the Waypoint. If you don't already, of course, comment, like, subscribe, all that fun shit. What did you think about the episode? Hit us up on Twitter. Drop it in the comments. Give our boy Mario Rivera down here a follow, too. We worked with him here a couple times at Shared Screens, and he makes good shit, dude.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Yes,
We love you,
yes.
dude. Thank you for coming on today, and the rest of the crew, as always. Thank you for being here. Obi-Wan Kenobi just announced May 25th, so we will be back here reviewing that as well. Maybe we'll make another T-shirt. Who knows? We're thinking about maybe doing like a fun special episode covering a bunch of Star Wars news or video games or something. So if you guys are interested in seeing us expand past the Disney Plus series, please let us know, and Josh and I will try and work something out. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. See you next Waypoint. Shut it off.